I wanted to take a few moments to make you aware of some MLA resources that are available to you through the Valencia College Library. In order to access these links, you will have to be signed into an Atlas. All right, so the first is on Microsoft Word page setup. So if you click on that link, it will take you to a page that talks to you about, well, first and foremost, it provides a template for Microsoft Word. Then it talks to you about what your margin should be, the font, the heading, your running head and page numbers, and your works cited page. So it goes through all of the general information that you need to know about MLA page setup. Then there's also a whole section on citing. So you can learn about quoting using block quotes and in-text citation. So with quotations, it talks about how to cite quotations of 4 lines or less. Those are our shorter quotes. It goes into things like poetry as well, but you won't need that for this particular course, but it shows you what that should look like. There's also sample papers available to you here. Then if you go to block quotes, you can get information on how to cite a long block quotation. So those are going to be those blocks of text that are 4 lines or longer. To be entirely honest, you should be avoiding long block quotes if at all possible. But it shows you to indent a block quote of 4 lines and not to use quotation marks. Notice where the citation is and how there aren't quotation marks involved. Notice that there's a colon prior to. And then it also goes into poetry and plays and things of that nature. The next is in-text citations, and I will point this out on a different video later on for you to remind you of it, but I do want you to be mindful of this. It talks about how to use in-text citation examples. So whether you're incorporating it into the sentence or you're doing it at the end, quoting from an original text or paraphrasing, keep in mind per MLA, you are required to include an in-text citation when you are paraphrasing, summarizing, or quoting a source. So you can kind of look at how it does the paraphrase versus how to do a quote. And these are just different options for how to do this. It also talks about indirect sources, which is when a source quotes a different person than who wrote the article. Then you have to use the phrase qtd.in. It also talks about if you have a book or article with page numbers versus if there isn't an author or you don't have page numbers because it's an electronic source, what those citations should look like. It also sets up what multiple authors should look like, as well as video, film, and audio. So this is a really nice resource for you as you're moving forward. Then it talks about works cited entries. You have basic information about what MLA 9 considers as containers, core elements, and supplemental information. So you can kind of look through each of these things and determine what you need or what's appropriate for you. And then there's examples, and the examples are really nice because you can get examples of, say, an article on a website or an entire website or a government website. You can also get examples for some of the different databases. So if you are using, I believe it's Academic One File or Academic Search Complete One, it is an EBSCOhost website. So this, if you click on it, will then show you what your citation should look like in order. So it says author followed by a period, title of article. Notice there's quotation marks and a period. Then journal title followed by a comma that's italicized. Then volume and issue. Notice the abbreviations and capitalization or lack thereof and punctuation. The date of publication, the page numbers, the database it came from, your permalink, and then you will also add an access date, which I've talked about in other videos. So this gives you an idea of how to use it if there's a DOI, without a DOI, if there is a DOI, kind of depending on your citation. But you can go in and say you were curious if what was provided to you is correct, and you can find if it's EBSCOhost. Gale is the other database that I pointed you to when you were doing your research earlier. Again, it shows you what it should look like if it's an article from a journal, magazine, or newspaper, an article from a book, a topic overview with no author, and so on and so forth. So there's all of these examples out there for you. And it's divided into ebooks, books, websites, quick references. So there's just lots of information here that's available to you. And I wanted to link it to you and provide this video just
to make you aware of it and how to access it.